Alright. Hi guys. It's Diane. So finally chapter 1 is done and ready. I'm sorry it took me so long. Me and my fiance got COVID, so not fun. I'm still sick. I'm still positive right now. It was really hard in the beginning. I had no energy. Now I'm getting my energy up again. I'm still sick. We're still sick. But so excuse me sniffling. My voice is a little bit gone. But anyways, that's what was the hold up for taking so long for chapter 1. But I did chapter 1 and I did chapter 2. I also started my podcast. So I have my intro done on podcast. It's through Sprecher. It's not in Apple yet. I gotta figure out how to do it. But anyways, so we're starting with chapter 1. I'm super excited. I know you guys have been waiting for a long time. So we're gonna just start breaking it down. So first, let me explain. I was gonna do like notes, but he explains it the best. So I just went and underlined through most of the book. I did take a few notes. But mostly I'm gonna be reading and then explaining to you everything. So we're gonna start in chapter 1. In the beginning of the book, he says, don't believe anything I'm saying. This is what he says: don't believe in anything, not even what is written in this book. Experiment, have your own experiences. So that's what I love. He says, like, don't believe me, don't believe what other people are saying, don't even believe what's in this book. Do it yourself. And that's what I love, because it's true. If you do what I'm gonna tell you in these books, you're gonna see it for yourself. You don't have to believe anybody. That's what I love. And that's, anyways, continuing. Okay, leaving the body. Once we start to consider the possibility seriously, the next logical step is to start investing in the development of the phenomenon so as to produce it with greater frequency and control. At this moment, there seems to be no other human experience that provides us with the comprehensive knowledge and experiential background about the nature of the consciousness beyond physical reality. As such, the out-of-body experience is not considered an end in itself, but is rather an invaluable and irreplaceable tool to explore our multidimensional reality. In this first chapter, we will explore the fundamentals of out-of-body experiences, as well as concepts regarding the nature and study of the consciousness, who we are, and its ramifications. Definition of the out-of-body experience. Out-of-body experience is the phenomenon whereby individuals separate themselves from their physical body, manifesting in dimensions beyond the physical one, using other subtler bodies or vehicles of manifestation. And in a little bit, we're going to explain those vehicles of manifestation that you're using to OBE. Okay? During an OBE, our body physically remains at rest, asleep, while we, the soul, spirit, or consciousness, distance ourselves from our physical bodies, exploring and experiencing other realities. Dope, right? Seriously, super cool. It's so much fun. The out-of-body experience is also known as a projection of the consciousness, astral travel, extracorporeal experience, conscious or lucid projection, unfolding, mystic voyage, and several other names. And then he goes down. Why OBE? Why would we, right? And I have a few written down here in my notes. Why OBE? 1, to prove reincarnation. I didn't used to believe until in reincarnation. I came from a Christian background. I still struggle with some of the Christian backgrounds, some of the Christian blocks, but when you OBE, you're gonna prove to yourself that reincarnation is true. So that's 1. And it's proving it to yourself, not to anybody else. You're proving reincarnation to yourself. Prove that we're more than just our bodies. Prove that more than we are just our meat sack. This meat sack. We are more than that. Let's see. Also identifying our life's purpose, helping other individuals while projected, replacing beliefs about the nature of life and death, contacting more evolved beings or consciousness. In this book, I told you this is how I was able to learn how to get in contact with my guides, with my spiritual guides, and with other ETs. So learning that how from learning how to OBE. Extra physical, beyond the physical or non-physical reality. We can enjoy expanded level of consciousness or awareness, accessing information and memories that are beyond the physical brain. Communication can take place without the barriers of language. As a result, we undergo new and meaningful experiences and acquire greater knowledge, which in turn leads to a deeper appreciation of our existence. Meaning that when you're in OBE, we don't talk anymore. It's all telepathic. And that he explains later on too, it's a lot easier. Now we're kind of burdened with like, if you don't speak every language that there is in the world, there's a communication barrier. But it doesn't matter. And even, ETs, I'm guessing, they have different languages, right? We wouldn't automatically understand them. But through when you're in OBE, you're automatically telepathically speaking. So you can understand anybody from anywhere. It's pretty amazing. All right, disconnection. To leave the physical body is part of our human, or better yet, consciental nature. It's natural to leave the body. It's not something unnatural. It's not something to be scared of. It's natural. It happens to you every single night, whether you know it or not. We can affirm that every body disconnects from their physical body every night. A natural and spontaneous separation takes place whenever we go to sleep, and we basically stay floating above the body. Yet the great majority of people are unaware of this condition because they remain unconscious through this process. I wrote, what you see is a shape identical to the sleeping person's physical body. This outer body is called the psychosoma, or astral body. Now he has a picture. Okay, so this is our body right here. Okay, this is what he calls our astral body, or he calls it the psychosoma. So you need to remember that. This is your regular body. This is your psychosoma. That's what's leaving. That's what's having the out of body experience, is your psychosoma. I wrote an obvious benefit from having lucid projections. Think about what it is that most people want when they go. Oh, I'm sorry. The number one thing to do, this is the first tip. I wrote, set an intention, but let me read this. Think about what it is that most people want when they go to bed at night. What is their primary motivation? Certainly, they all want to rest and sleep. Some people just want to have a quiet, eventless night and wake up in the morning rested. Others prefer to not even dream but be out like a light the entire night. These intentions, not surprisingly, result in the person sleeping without much awareness in the night. And that's true for me too. We're kind of programmed like, oh, we just want to be knocked out. I just want to be knocked out. That's it. That's all I care about. I want to be knocked out and wake up rested, right? So you need to set your intention. You have to set your intention every single night. And you just tell yourself, my body will sleep, my body needs to sleep, but my consciousness does not need to sleep. So I want my body to sleep, but I want my consciousness to be aware. So you need to set that intention every single night. Another thing I used to have I don't say problem with, but I used to take sleeping pills. If you have to, you have to, but I know the sleeping pills, they make you go out like a light. When you're working on the out-of-body experience, you need to work on that in-between time. It's called theta. We'll get into that later. But anyways, one of the first steps towards your out-of-body experience journey is you want to set your intention to you don't want to be just out like a light. Tell yourself, I want my body to sleep, but I want my consciousness to be awake. Okay, that's going to be the first thing. That's going to be the first tip that you're going to need to remember for your journey. Okay. Quite simply, we can deduce that as an essential aspect that can help us have more lucid projections is intention. To project lucidly, we need to have the intention of wanting to remain awake during the night. Again, every night when you go to bed, affirm to yourself, I will let my body sleep, but I want to remain aware. Say this with intention. Really mean it. Make sure that this is what you really deeply, sincerely want. Okay? I will let my body sleep, but I want to remain aware. There are different types of projections. Number 1, spontaneous. Number 2, forced. Number 3, provoked at will. So we're going to go through them, okay? The spontaneous projection is the most common of all. These are called spontaneous projections because there does not seem to be an obvious reason for why we recovered our awareness outside of the body. It tends to happen when we are sleeping in a place other than our bedroom, such as a friend's house or at a hotel room. Many times we're floating close to a wall or a ceiling. Most spontaneous experiences tend to last only a few seconds. One reason for their shortness is that we normally become surprised when we realize we are outside of the body, which causes us quickly to return. In some cases, we even have the opportunity to look at the physical body, a phenomenon called self-bilocation. So here he has another one. I'm going to try to bring it close. That's our physical body. That's our astral body. And that's you having an OBE. And it's pretty cool because in there, some people have experiences where this is where they're able to actually see their physical body sleeping. See how he's like turned around facing his regular body? So he wakes up when he's having an OBE and he's like, whoa, he sees his body on the bed. That's called self-bilocation, when you're actually able to see your body. All right. Number 2. Forced experiences are the second type of lucid projection. Near-death experiences, NDEs, are the most common type of forced projection. Individuals undergo NDEs are literally forced outside of their body as a result of an accident, surgery, anesthesia, drowning, ailment, heart attack, or other circumstances. Let's see. So now he's talking about NDEs. Let's see. Beyond the NDE, a projection is also considered forced when it is produced by drugs. However, provoking OBE through the use of drugs is not recommended at all. Okay. And then he says why you shouldn't take drugs to help with OBE. A projector could become clouded. In general, what occurs is that people who use drugs weaken their will. Lastly, the most logical aspect with regard to drugs is that they are simply not needed. It's true, you do not need drugs to have an OBE. You don't need drugs to have an OBE. You can do it naturally. It's a natural thing. It's just that we're not taught this, you know. Most people don't even think it's real. So you have to learn, but it's easy. It's easy, I'm telling you. But sorry, I get distracted. I get so excited, you guys. I get so excited. The third type of lucid projection is the one provoked at will. There are many techniques for this, as we will see later in chapter 4. In order to understand what is needed to provoke lucid projections at will, we must first recognize 2 facts. The first is that everybody leaves the body at night. Also, I'm sorry, you guys, I just had my cheeks pierced, and they're really loud, so they're like clicking against my mouth. So I feel like I'm kind of struggling to talk. Anyways, distraction, but I just had to tell you, okay? The first is everybody leaves the body every night, as mentioned previously. We spontaneously and unconsciously leave the body every time we fall asleep. The second is that coming back to the body is likewise easy, since we do this every time we wake up in the morning. Coming back to the body is no problem. Our challenge is to remain outside of it with awareness. If leaving the body and coming back to it are relatively easy to do, then what is it in essence that we want to learn? To fully enjoy all the benefits of lucid projection, we need to develop 2 attributes. Number 1, we need to have lucidity or awareness. Number 2, we need to recall the experience. Since a projection is not necessarily automatically recalled, the reason for this is that everything we perceive and experience outside the body is not automatically recorded in the brain, so it's not automatically accessible. On the contrary, the information accumulates in the non-physical bodies, which are the ones that are active at the moment in the experience. So basically, let me show you, okay? Back to this one. So why it's hard, why he's explaining it, sometimes why it's hard for us to understand, and it's not automatically registered in our brain, because our brain is in this body, right there. Okay, so it's not, when we're in the OBE, we're in this body right here. So it's not, the memory is not registered in the brain, it's registered in your psychosoma. That's why it's hard to remember, and that's why sometimes it's hard to remember your dreams too, because it's not physically in there. But don't worry, it just takes practice. It just takes practice, and then But there's also, he goes on to explain later on, there's different levels of lucidity, up from 1% to 100% lucidity. If you're at 100% lucidity, you will remember everything. It's going to be amazing. Honestly, the highest level lucidity I've gotten to, and then it could vary, you know, because you go in and out. The highest level, I would say, I want to say 85% is the highest level I've got, and I've gotten that for, I want to say, between 10 to 20 minutes. I haven't gone farther than that, a higher percentage than that. But still, even those experiences, the 85 percentages, they're amazing to experience them. Let's see, where am I? Okay, so yeah, we need to recall the experience. So those are the two things, okay? Next page, he has some statistics. According to the international surveys, individuals reported the following levels of lucidity at night while sleeping. Unconscious experiences, normal sleeping without much awareness, 89%. Semi-conscious experiences, that's the level of lucid dreaming, 9.8%. Conscious experiences, lucid projections and OBEs, 1.2%. Now this is what he says. Though this is a small percentage, about 1% of the population means that in a city with 2 million people, 20,000 individuals have had lucid projections. So that's pretty amazing. Let's see. He talks about lucid dreams. Lucid dreams are a step between normal dreams and lucid projections, and they can also be nurtured and developed. Even though we have control over our dream, it is important to stress that it is still a dream. The lucid dream can be, however, a training path toward having lucid projections. We can also will ourselves to stop the dream and see the extra physical reality. So I want to point this out too. Once you start having more lucid dreams, that's when you know that you are definitely on the path to getting closer to being able to OBE. Like I said, once I started reading this book in the beginning, you don't automatically jump to having an OBE. If you do, that's amazing. That's amazing, you know? For me, I didn't. For me, my dreams started ramping up. I was able to remember my dreams very good. Then I was starting able to get lucid dreaming, where I was able to control what was going on and control myself in my dream. So once you start having dreams like that, lucid dreaming, you start remembering them more. That tells you that you're on the right path towards the OB. Another thing is, I don't think he says it in here, but to have a journal. I had started the journal, just have it right next to your bed, next to a pen, and try to, as soon as you wake up, write down, even if it's just a few sentences, like main pointers, because as soon as we get our day going, we all know we forget the dream. But just write down the few key pointers. I know we're busy in the morning, we gotta go to work, we got things to do, so you don't gotta write out the whole dream. It does take time, but just write down the few key pointers of your dream, so that later on, if you do want to write down your dream, you'll be able to bring it back. So yeah, let's see. When you realize that you are in a lucid dream, give the command to stop the dream and to see the extra physical reality. For example, you could say the following: I want to be aware and see my actual room now. So he's saying, once you're in the lucid dream and you're like, oh hey, I'm dreaming, I'm lucid dreaming, tell yourself, I want to be aware and I want to see my room. And then from there, it says, your dream will dissolve. I haven't done this yet. I forget. Once I get lucid, I don't know. I have other videos explaining my lucid dream. I just get excited and start doing things in my dream. So I need to keep this in mind too, next time I have a lucid dream, to say that I want to see extra physical reality. And then from there, then you'll able to do the OBE. With some practice, after giving this command, the dream will dissipate and we will find ourselves in most instances floating above the physical body in our bedroom. Another thing I want to say too, to realize that you guys are having OBs, even if you don't. That feeling, like some people say, they have that light feeling, that floating feeling. I felt that before. I'll explain some of my experiences later in other videos. But another one that used to happen to me, and it still happens to me to this day, and it's still kind of scary, that feeling where you're falling, That is literally your body, not your body, your psychosoma is so light that it either floats or it falls through your body. So that, like, you wake yourself up because you feel yourself falling. I know it's scary, but that you have to get yourself used to, because that is you naturally, your psychosoma leaving and going. And if you can get used to that falling out of your body, then you'll be able to go from that straight to out of body experience. But if you have that feeling, then you already started having OBs, you just don't know it yet. Isn't that pretty cool? I thought that was cool once I found that out. Okay, outside the body, we have full capacity to make decisions. We can decide to go to a relative's house, to a physical place that might be very far away, or to another dimension, or we can simply stay and contemplate our own house from the extra physical perspective. Isn't that amazing, you guys? Amazing. You can go to different dimensions, you can go wherever you want. We can confirm it, something that dreams do not allow. For example, while we are away on a trip, a relative of ours reorganizes our living room, moving the furniture to different positions. We can observe this at night while projected and confirm it once we get home. So did you guys understand that example? He's saying that say we go on a vacation, right? And we have somebody house sitting. While we're gone on our vacation, our house sitter just decides to, like, I don't know, organize the room a little bit, move this here, move that, right? So while you're OBing, you're like, hey, I want to go check out my house. So I'm going to go check out my house, and you see, hey, grandma changed this, grandma moved this here, grandma moved this over there. Okay, I see that right now. When I get home, and then if you see grandma had actually moved this and this and that without you talking to her, then you know, this is real, this is not a dream. Okay? Let's see. Projectology is a science that studies the projections of the consciousnesses, OBE, astral travel, bioenergy, and related phenomena. So that's mechanisms of takeoff, composition of properties of the vehicle of manifestation, like our psychosoma, perceptions and observations outside the bodies, just study of chi, prana. Let's see. Another definition. Conscientology is the science that studies the consciousness of all of its manifestations inside and outside the body. Universalism, attributes of the consciousness, evolutions of the consciousness, strategies for evolution. Let's see, reincarnation. I wrote reincarnation. I'm sorry, you guys. Alright, I'm going to just read this. Let us consider some examples of these statements. It is in fact that all living beings have one physical life for a limited period of time. Specifically, we are born, spend some time on the physical dimension, grow, live, and then pass away. This observation is also applicable to animals, plants. It is easy, natural, and simple to make this physical observation and arrive at this conclusion. As we start to have lucid projections and begin spending time in the extra physical dimension, we are going to observe and realize that as individuals die, they spend a certain amount of time extra physically, as an extra physical consciousness, and then they are physically born again. Reincarnation. Let's see. Alright, so then he goes on talking about the attributes of the consciousness. Okay? As we have seen our OB example, we are consciousness. We are able to manifest in different planes of reality. Being in essence, we are multi-dimensional. However, we do not necessarily have to be projected outside the body, to access other dimensions. Psychic individuals interact with subtle dimensions through clairvoyance. The consciousness is also multi-existential, which implies that we encompass many existences or many lives. Alright, let's see. Many lives. Animals are also consciousness souls, yet they do not have the same level of self-awareness as we do. While outside the body, we can observe our dog or cat is also projected. I'm sorry. So a lot of this stuff I just like underline, and I'm trying to like realize like why did I underline it, you know? But I thought this part was pretty cool. And I've heard stories of this from different people too, where they see like their cat like go someplace or their dog go someplace like really fast. But anyways, once you start to OBE too, you can see that animals naturally OBE all the time. So you'll be able to see them too. Pretty cool. All right. Then he goes into explaining this thing called the consciental program paradigm. It's a lot about science. It's really interesting, but it's also really hard and like, I don't want to say really hard, but really kind of in depth. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to skip it, kind of get to the good stuff, you know, like how to OBE. But if you guys want me to go over it, I can go over it later. But anyways, this chapter 1's kind of like a lot of definitions, a lot of explaining stuff, which you're going to need to know later on. Alright, holosoma, the vehicle of our consciousness. Holosoma is a word comprising two Greek terms. The first term is the prefix holo, which means whole, total, complete, or the collection of the second term soma means body. The physical body is a tool for manifesting in and interacting with the physical dimension. Likewise, the consciousness has other bodies to manifest in dimensions other than the physical. So the soma is our physical body right here. This is our soma, our physical body. Our inner soma was that picture I showed you of the guy like floating. Here, I did this. It's horrible. Because I can't fit in the picture. So this is our body, and then this was our inner soma, right? Our energy, our consciousness. Soma, inner soma. Okay? Psychosoma, emotional body. We're going to go over this more. Then there's the mental soma, intellectual body. Okay? So we're going to go over these. So this is another good picture. Soma. I gotta get this in. Good for you guys, because this is really important. This is our soma, the body, our body right here. This is soma right here. The second one, remember our consciousness, our OBE is our psychosoma. I'm sorry, even I get these confused, and I get these confused. So soma, psychosoma. Our inner soma, you can hardly see it. Get this right where. Right. Okay. See that like little black kind of outline around the soma? That is the inner soma, or it's called holo chakra. And it's basically our energetic body. It's basically like the aura. There you go. That's basically, it's the aura. He calls it the inner soma. So then we have our psychosoma, and then this up here, gosh, I'm trying to get it all in. Up here, that top lightning bolt, that is our mental soma. That is our consciousness. Even without the soma, without the body, even without the inner soma, we are still the mental soma, that consciousness without a body. We don't need a body. But even without all those things, we are still consciousness. That is us. No form, formless, but mental soma. All right. So yeah, inner soma is basically like our aura, our chakras. The inner soma is a body that surrounds the physical body entirely and extends an inch or two outward beyond the skin. Outward beyond the skin, like I said, basically like the aura. Okay, that's the inner soma. The inner soma has two main functions. The first is to vitalize the physical body. The inner soma is responsible for physical activity and vigor. For instance, the good health of an inner soma accounts for our general well-being. We feel more confident and full of life, and our memory and overall mood are at their best. People who do not have a healthy inner soma due to energetic blockages and imbalances suffer from a generalized lack of motivation and often without energy, life fuel to do what they desire. The second function of the inner soma is to link the soma, the physical body, with the body while we're doing our OBEs, the psychosoma, emotional or our astral body. If our inner soma is more flexible, free-flowing, and loose, then disconnecting from the soma with lucidity is easier. On the other hand, if our energies are more rigid and stagnated, this will create an obstacle for us leaving the body. Therefore, the flexibility of our energies, or the lack thereof, is one of the most important factors in the terms of leaving the body. We may know and practice several techniques for projecting, but if we do not care for or nurture our inner soma through multiple daily exercises, for example, then leaving the body will be much more difficult regardless of the projective technique we apply. And he does give you these exercises, which in the next chapter, number 2, to cleanse out your inner soma and your inner chakras every single day. The inner soma is the only body that does not carry the consciousness. So our real body, our soma, carries the consciousness. Our psychosoma, our astral body, carries the consciousness. Our mental soma, which is our consciousness, is our consciousness. But the inner soma, our aura, he says, is the only one that does not carry the consciousness. The many energetic connections are now grouped into one long thread, which has been historically and commonly called the silver cord. Picture. That like line, you see it? The line. God, I'm trying to add on. Not that. That's a mental soma. Down. Sorry, you guys. That line. That's the silver cord. It's called the silver cord. It's normally being called the silver cord. The silver cord is responsible for keeping us connected to the soma while projected. It transfers information and energy from the soma to the psychosoma and vice versa. If someone wakes us up by either touching us or making a noise while we are projected, this stimulus to the physical body will cause the silver cord to retract and will instantly be back inside the body. He also goes in to say that no, there's no limit to how far the silver cord can go, that some people, I guess, get scared that it could snap or could get cut or something. There's no limit. It can go as far to any dimension, anywhere, to the ends of the earth, to the ends of space, anywhere. There's no limit to it. Alright, now he goes into explaining the psychosoma. Trying to get comfortable, y'all. Alright, psychosoma. It looks identical to the physical one. The second body, in which we have the great majority of our projections, is called the psychosoma. The psychosoma is the most technical name for the body, though synonyms have been used such as emotional body, astral body, double, and many more. The psychosoma is very light, and as a result, one of the first sensations as we experience, as we disconnect, is from the body is the lack of weight, which is a very pleasant feeling, which is what I'm talking about. One of the things that you feel is when you feel like you're falling, that's one of the first feelings that you notice. Since the psychosoma does not have organs like the physical body, it does not necessarily feel cold or heat. It does not need to eat, drink, or have any physiological necessities. As a matter of fact, one of the most interesting sensations while projected is the lack of breathing. Alright, note that during a projection, when we encounter a friend or a relative who has passed away, what we see is that individual's psychosoma. Even though that individual has already lost his or her physical body, the psychosoma is able to support itself without the need for the soma, without the need for the body. Mental soma. The fourth body used by consciousness is called the mental soma. It is the most sophisticated and complex body of the consciousness. While in the mental soma, we enjoy a level of lucidity and clarity that is unattainable in the psychosoma or soma. In other words, in a projection with the mental soma, we are able to reach our highest level of awareness. The mental soma has no defined shape, no limbs, no trunk, nor a head. Mental somatic projections have been widely reported, even though they are much rarer than psychosomatic projections. Several synonyms have been used to refer to this type of experience: nirvana, satori, samadhi. Yet they all fall under the same umbrella of mental somatic expansion. The connection between the psychosoma and the mental soma is called the golden cord. So that cord between our soma, our body, and the psychosoma, our energetic body, is called the golden cord, and the cord between our consciousness, our psychosoma, and our mental soma is called the golden cord. There is not much information available on the golden cord, which at this point makes it very difficult to understand. All right. Basic states of consciousness, chapter 1. Number 1, intraphysical consciousness. Intraphysical consciousness is the condition where we are in right now within the physical dimension. Thus, we are in control of all 4 of those bodies. Number 2, extraphysical consciousness. No longer has a physical body. Before being born, we were extraphysical consciousness. After biological death, we will again return to that state. Extraphysical consciousness are in the intermissive period, the phase between lives. After discarding the physical body, the extraphysical consciousness manifests with either 3, all those 3 are 2, psychosoma and mental soma. Body. Spirit guides are spirit guides are extraphysical consciousnesses as well. So he's basically saying that before we're born, we are extraphysical consciousness, and then after we die, we are extraphysical consciousness. We do not have the soma, we don't have the body, we're just the psychosoma or the mental soma, and that's what spirit guides are. They don't have a body, or at least a human body. Third basic state is a projected state. Both intraphysical and extraphysical consciousness enjoy the more temporary state of being projected. Basically, OBE state. I don't want to say spirit guides don't have a body, because I've seen them in bodies, but that he goes into that later, where later you can cut the cord from the psychosoma to only being into your mental soma, and that's being into a higher consciousness, reaching nirvana. That's later on. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Now he goes into, is it dangerous to OBE? I guess some people had questions about this. I guess a lot of people, maybe mysteries. We don't know, So he answers a few. You may get lost. Even though sometimes you may not know where you are, you will always be able to come back to your body simply by thinking it. You may not be able to come back. This fear spurred in most cases by the projective catalepsy or sleep paralysis. This specific sensation will be discussed in chapter 3. Somebody might come and cut the silver cord, which would produce biological death. Nobody can come and cut your cord. The silver cord is not a weak connection and cannot be cut. Though it is called the silver cord, it is not an actual cord. It's more like a magnetic interjection connection. If somebody wakes you up while you're projected, the silver cord will be severed. Answer: the cord will not be severed by any physical or extra-physical activity that happens to bring you back into your body. Even if the stimulus is forceful, like a phone ringing in your ear, a large dog or cat jumping on top of you while you're asleep, or a loud bang close to your bedroom, you will be back in your body and the cord will not sever. So know your cord's not going to sever. If something like that happens, if you get frightened awake, you're just going to come straight back to your body. And that's the kind of struggle in the beginning too, is you do go back to your body really quickly, really fastly. If you get super excited, if you get scared, you right back to your body. So a few times, it still happens to me. I get really excited, or I even get scared sometimes, and you just go straight back to body, straight back to theta state, and then you gotta try again. But that's okay, it's normal. Like we said, it just takes practice, and then you'll be able to make it longer, and then you'll be able to do it. Alright. While outside the body, somebody else may come into your body, and once you return, you will find your body already in use. As we are outside the body, the inner soma stretches in two, and some of the energy stays within the physical body. Any stimulus, whether intraphysical or intraphysical, will immediately cause the psychosoma to return. Thus, being more explicit, OBEs do not cause people to be possessed or to experience any type of intrusion. While projected, we may encounter individuals who can harm us. Answer. This point will be addressed in detail in Chapter 5, and we will see then as well what these outside-the-body worries are unfounded. It may be dangerous to get close to power lines or get hit by lightning or encounter some other kind of danger. The psychosoma is invulnerable, so nothing can hurt you while you're in the OBE. After projection, we may feel exhausted. Answer. We will also see that after an OBE, we are not usually tired. On the contrary, the physical body is resting during a projection, and because of the energies absorbed during the OBE,